let's talk about your book, and let's talk about what led to your book. You and I have had a conversation before. You have been open about what we call your bottom that led to this desire to go on this journey and look a little more inward. The bottom is pretty public. You've talked about it before. I don't know if you want to go through that again. Feel free.
Look, man, I'm sure I've had bottoms.
Right.
You know, I've had close calls. I've just been so lucky. I don't think anybody who knows me well would just like, this guy's got a horseshoe up his ass, you know, like, because I do find myself in close scrapes. But this one was very, like, in front of everybody, and, like, I knew better. You know what I mean? And, like, what are you doing? Like, it's not like I was, you know, out late at a dive bar and got sideways. You know what I mean? It was like,
private.
It was like, hey, it's you, Andy Cohen. What are you doing? He's like, hi, Shep, you know? And then these other housewives and stuff, I'm sure we're like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? But Vegas and gambling, there's a lot of triggers
oh my God,
out there.
Vegas in general.
And honestly, the biggest thing that gets me in trouble is just like day drinking, really. It's
Sure.
like, because then you take it into the night. The thing that is interesting that I've observed is I have friends with families, kids, wives, and things of that nature. And I go out to get a glass of wine and some lunch on a Sunday, and we laugh and yuck it up and talk about old times and what we got going on and their lives and mine. And then a couple hours later, they're like, I gotta go home, gotta tend to my life. And I'm like, where do I go?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Definitely not home.
Where do I go? I go to the next group of pod of people.
Right.
And then, so it's interesting. John Belushi, when he died, Aykroyd or one of those guys said they went to the funeral and they were like, wait, you knew him? And it was like different different shifts of people that he oh, it's 4 a.m. I know that they're doing something, Keith Richards or whatever. And it's all these different groups of people that didn't know each other exist that he bounced around to. I can really relate to that.
Yeah.
But it's a dangerous thing. And I knew that something had to happen and I didn't know what it was. You know, I wasn't like, oh God, rehab, but like definitely in that
Something.
had that thought process was just like, and I know that you've been sober for a while now, and we've talked about it before. And our friend B Reeves as well. He and I, boy, had a lot of fun, you know. And I have other friends too, but it's interesting and it's all worth thinking about and considering. And I decided to go try something a little different, ayahuasca. My friend Bailey had lived in Buenos Aires for 7 years, and she did it once a year for 7 times. And she was like, we get a lot out of it. And she had a vision of me while she did it too. I go, what was the vision? And she said, that you're an exit guy. And I was like, exit guy? She's like, yeah, you're always looking for the exit. And like not digging deeper, not like dealing with the ugliness. She said, I saw you jumping from mountaintop to mountaintop without dealing with the valleys. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And I was like, God damn, man, that's like spot on. You know what I mean? And then I talked to my Navy SEAL friend who's also a screenwriter, and he told me about this place called Rhythmia down in Costa Rica. He was like, look, it's like a nice starter kit for this sort of world.
Sure.
And it was very much the Ritz-Carlton of ayahuasca places. And they take very good care of you. Staff's amazing. Food's amazing. Accommodations, pool, sauna, cold plunge. You know what I mean? Like you are not on a mat in the jungle with like caterpillars crawling all over you and shit like that.
And you hear about those. You hear about
you
those
do.
kind, for
You
sure.
do.
All right. So, you know, what comes into my mind when you're talking about the lead up is, you know, you describe yourself and even your friend's visual, you know, that is not an uncommon thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you're not the only one that avoids, you know, things that hurt or are uncomfortable.
Or ugly.
Or ugly. Fuck yeah, all that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a common way to be. You know, how you handle those things is then where it becomes kind of, all right, maybe we do a little analysis there. Some people, you know, eat, some people sex, some people this, some people do it all.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get to a point where it's like, all right, this doesn't seem to be working. What do I do now? And it seems like that's kind of where you got. What was that when you said, what do I do now? What was driving that?
It was a fear that I'm not in control. Am I in charge of even my behavior? Like, is this like fucking insane?
Yeah.
And then sort of, it's not funny anymore. You know, it was funny for a while. I mean, back when my boys, me and my friends, we were in their 20s and early 30s. It was like, oh shit, you won't believe what happened last night.
Dude, I'm in jail.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, the stakes are too high, but I don't know. I needed to shake things up. And I mean, the show and celebrity are certainly a big part of that equation. I mean, in the early days of the show, we used to finish a scene, our day of filming, and whoop, whoop, look what we did it, guys. And we just go hit the town hard, you know? God. And I write about that in the book, about those days. I mean, I was living downtown.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my house was near the bars, 3 stories with rooftop deck. It was a freaking party, man. And like 60 people at 4 a.m. And like, I don't know, half of them I don't even know. And, drug dealers and girls and all the things, man. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I want to go home. They're like, you are home. It was almost like Jack Nicholson in 1972 or something like that. Or like,
certainly what the goal was back then.
Yes.
We all wanted that.
That was my hero. And so was Keith Richards and all these guys that didn't ask forgiveness or permission, and they painted the town and cut a wide swath. And I was like, I wasn't a musician. I wasn't a movie actor, but I sort of was like, hey, people are paying attention to me, and they want to spend time with me, and they want to bring me things for free. Yeah. Yeah. And they want to take a shot, and they, and I
sleep over.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so that was a little bit of an adjustment. Now, I don't think that I changed personally. Like, I take pride in the fact that because of my upbringing, my parents, I would never big time anybody or anything like that. I just was like, I wanted it all. I was like, I say in the book, the Cookie Monster. Mm-hmm. So that's a hard thing to shake. And discipline's not easy, especially for someone like me.
Yeah, man. I mean, good Lord, I don't think anybody could look at your past and what led up to this moment in your life and think, how could he, or why would he, or that's a life most people kind of dream of.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole rock star life, like it's a fantasy.
Yeah.
Right. And you were
living the fantasy.
You got it.
And I still could, and I sometimes do, and I still get in trouble.
Well, of course, but look at the long history of people that have lived that life.
Yeah.
Where are they in their later years? They're either slowing down or tremendously, dead or sober.
Yeah.
So the goal...
Someone like Joe Walsh or something like that. Yeah.
Right. But the goal is to slow down. That's it.
Dude, you have no idea how hard that is.
No, I know.
Slow down is like the biggest thing I need to tell myself on a daily basis. And it's funny, when I went to Costa Rica for the first time, before the show began, I had some friends down there, surfer buddies. And I got there, and the first thing they said, first night, they're like, slow down. And I was like, what? I was like, what am I doing? They're like, you're in Costa Rica, number one. Number two, just slow down. So I didn't really hit back then, but when I was recording the audio book last month, I would get ahead of myself reading and I'd fumble the words. I was like, slow down. But that leaks into everything. Yeah. Slow down, relax, take a breath, take a beat.
All right.
And so
very hard to
that's
do.
It's for someone with hyperactive ADHD, whose mind and body is racing a mile a minute. It's a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to your first night. So actually, let's go to the trip there. Nervous, excitement?
Yes, nervous, excitement, apprehensive, first day of school, stranger in a strange land. We're not in Kansas anymore.
About to trip balls.
Yeah, so I land in the airport, and I've been to that airport a few times. I love Costa Rica.
If it snaps, you think you could run and jump onto a tree in time?
No, I would die.
Whoa.
That's how I want to go, on a suspended bridge in the jungles of Costa Rica.
Nice. With your surfer shoes on.
I'm a surfer. I love the culture. I land and, walk outside and there's a guy with a sign that says Rhythmy. I'm like, oh, that's me. And he's like, say, if you don't mind, wait here. We have other people trickling in and we're going to get in this bus and we're going to drive to the thing. And I look over and there's like people like me, typically just pounding the local beer Imperials and getting ready to have their Costa Rican party and, on the beach. And I was like, yes, I know that well.
Oh.
But no.
Left or right?
No, I wasn't even.
No.
Because they asked you not to drink for a period before. And then obviously there you're not drinking and you're eating healthily. They ask you not to eat processed foods and all this stuff.
Do they provide all the food there?
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, it's very nice. And it's all healthy and organic. So
Kind of like this.
I love that. Sugar-free, though. That's my deal.
Yep.
It's really good for you.
Pure sugar. Yeah.
So anyway, we pile into the bus. I don't know anybody. And I'm sort of just taking stock of what's going on. And there's this very nice girl who was very enthusiastic, had done this last year. And she had gotten a lot out of it. And she was like, all of a sudden, my touchstone, my soothsayer. I was like, tell me what to expect. And she kind of like held court in the bus and gave us a little bit of what to expect. And she was very enthusiastic. And so, yeah, then we get there and again, everybody's so nice, but you're still feeling everything out and everyone out. You don't do the medicine till 48 hours later. So it's kind of this waiting period. They sort of butter you up too. You do like breathing exercises and yoga and like all these like calming, like getting you in the mood kind of thing. And lots of gentle guidance about what to expect. And, they said the worst thing that can happen is nothing. Which I found interesting because there was these two women, super nice, from Alabama, Dothan, Alabama.
Dothan.
And I know Dothan, and they said, they were country and great, and I know, my whole family's from Montgomery, so we were laughing, and they were like, we would never do anything like this with our husbands. And I was like, yeah, I know who your husbands are too. Like I know what the deal is. It's an interesting group of people. And we just slowly but surely got to the first night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the first night, there's a couple like main things that stand out on each 4 nights. Love to talk about all of them.
Okay.
I mean, as much as we have time for, but the first one was the amusement ride, right?
Yes.
The pole. So help me understand.
Yeah. So I was laying there after 2 cups. You take a first cup.
And this is like a liquid?
Yeah, it's like a shot glass of this purple sludge. And meanwhile, you waiting in line, like 2 separate lines, and there's a shaman and the shaman's right-hand man or woman. And there's a different shaman every night, so whatever. But and behind the shaman is like all these chairs filled with shamans, helpers, and musicians. And, a flute player, a guitarist, bongos, and these wonderful Spanish singers. It wasn't like a concert. It actually was the second night. But it was just like a sort of like summoning King Kong or something. Yeah. It was outrageous. Wow. And then, they go, rub your head and touch your arms, and you're like, drink this. And then you go back, and they're like, in an hour and a half, we will summon you for the next. And so I chose to stay inside most of the time. No, not most of the time. After the first cup, they gave you a very nice eye mask. And you're just like, and you have no concept of time.
Oh, God. You go inward.
And you're trying to fit. Well, usually after the first cup, not a whole lot's happening, but it's like building. After the second cup, I'm lying there. And I picture a amusement park ride, the one where the swings are hanging down. And all of a sudden it spins and the swings go wider. And people are laughing. And I look closer and it's people that I love and know and care about. And everybody's whooping it up, having a good time. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. And then I look closer, and I was the pole. I was in the middle of it, my head. And so they were swinging around me, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then I sort of had glimpsed at like what if I collapsed, what would happen to everybody in the swings, which is, chaos and trauma
Yeah.
and potential danger, not only for me but for everybody I care about. And that hit hard, because
Wonder why you went to that.
I know.
Like
well,
what if?
it's funny, and because later on in that night, I looked up without the mask, and there were ceiling fans all in the thing, and I was like, oh, maybe that's it. Maybe it's subconscious. But that's the thing. You have to open yourself up completely, and surrender, they say, and be willing to make leaps of logic. And I made many, and this means that, and that means this. So you, as out there as you are, you've got to like somehow be cerebral and also let go at the same time. And I've had a lot of experience with psychedelics. I think that really helped me because in the back of my head, I was thinking, okay, you're going to be okay. Like this is going to end.
Right.
And so just ride it. Just ride the snake to the lake.
It sounds like, have you ever had your dreams analyzed?
No, I haven't.
It's a similar thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just the most bizarre subconscious kind of stuff. And
funny
you're
you
analyzing.
say that. The active ingredient is DMT in ayahuasca. And DMT is made from a root and a leaf, but also DMT is in our bodies. If you took out blood right now or urine sample, there would be small traces of DMT. There's many arguments about this because no one can know for sure. They think, many think that when you are born and when you die, a bunch of DMT is released. And other schools of thought is that dreams are fueled by DMT. So you're not far off. And I mean, it can't be proven, but like it makes perfect sense to me. Yeah. So it is very much a dream state. I would say, yeah. But the way I saw it, I don't know if you've probably taken mushrooms before. Nah, not you.
To be honest, I liked acid better.
Oh, sure, same thing. Not same thing, but similar. Yeah, I liked acid too, but I liked mushrooms more. You remember you yawn in the beginning?
Yeah.
And you're like, then your body's like. Then you feel like the tingle and you're like, wow, here it comes, right?
Yeah, the waves.
So I found myself yawning and looking back, this is how I saw it. When you yawned, there's a thing they call it Mother Ayahuasca, and she's present. And you ask questions of her and she'll answer them if it's a pertinent or valuable question. So when you yawn, she enters your body.
Oh my God.
That's how I saw it. And when she enters your body, the webs and the tangles are all dealt with, and you literally are tearing yourself apart. That's happened a few times to me, especially the first 2 nights. You're like, ah, and you're literally making those guttural noises on the ground, like, ah, good God, like boy, oh boy. And some people I saw Indian style folded over themselves, rocking back and forth, just like, some people, a little more animated, but and then you purge.
Here we go.
You either run to the bathroom or not run. It's not like you have lost control. That's a common misconception.
Yeah.
And they had plenty of bathrooms there, and you just sort of quietly walk and then you relieve yourself or you throw up. Those are the 2 ways you can purge. After you purge, it's like when you throw up in real life. With you're like, oh,
new energy.
Woo. And that's, I think, her leaving you. Hurt your body. And then you sort of have a moment. You're like, what did I just experience? What did it all mean? And usually I would stand up and walk around. There's a beautiful lawn and a bonfire, and there's probably 10 hammocks or more bordering the lawn. And you could go out there. I would put the cool grass underneath my feet. I would stare at the stars, lay in the hammock.
Now, do you have anybody with you, or are you kind of on your own?
That is verboten. You are not allowed to touch anybody or speak to anybody. And they ask, if you go with your friends or family or anybody, do not sit anywhere or do not lay anywhere near them. It is totally a solitary pursuit.
Even like as far as like a shaman or a guide, is nobody's with you, kind of helping?
And they'll come over at times, and we'll get to that. It's night 2. It's very much a no to interact with anybody. So
cool.
So you're just kind of at the fire, you know, staring into it, and there's someone you met the other day, and I mean, you don't even, it's just so, you're so locked in. You're so inward, you know. Once you purge, and then, you know, maybe you relax out on the hammock, you hear cup 3 available.
Here we go.
And they say, if you can think, drink, which means if you're like, maybe I should go.
Do it.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I took cup 3, and I can't remember if it was cup 4 or cup 3. I don't know how many I had that first night. I think it was 4.
How many do they go to?
And as much as you want, the bar is open.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And
That
of course,
is
I was
nuts.
there to combat my excessive behavior. And
Right.
the first night
Should I do 5?
4 cups. Yeah. But so, yeah, I mean, it was powerful. We won't go through everything because I could.
All
I
good.
could. I mean, this woman was freaking out. I was on the hammock after my like purge. And this woman is sort of gently led outside by the wonderful staff, put on a mattress. Motherfucker, fuck you! How dare you! Ah. And then she started laughing diabolically. I was like, oh man! And it was a commotion. And I got up and I said, I'm just gonna go inside.
Yeah.
And the next day I found her. And I met her on the bus, you know, on the way there. I was like, how are you? She's like, I'm okay, actually. And I was like, what, do you mind sharing what happened last night? And she was like, yeah. She's like, my mother committed suicide when I was 12 years old. And I was with her last night. And we hashed it out. She goes, I was like, and you're okay? She goes, I'm better than okay.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is like some major breakthrough. And that's not, and since we only have a small time, like, I've had 2 other grown men, you know, basically cry in my arms the next day.
Yeah.
Over their father being bad men. God, you're just blown away by a lot of childhood trauma, a lot of just trauma in general, pain, abuse. You hear it all. Yeah. And that's what it's for. That's what these people are here for. And they say it's like 10 years of therapy wrapped into 4 nights.
Right.
Now, I would, and I don't know much about like traumatic therapy at all. Really know nothing about it. But I would argue that it's maybe more valuable than 10 years. You're physically hallucinating, but you're with the person that caused you trauma, and you're able to forgive them and see what they were going through. Right. It's just like this all big, like, empathetic thing. This one girl stood up the first night and was like, I come from a Irish Catholic family, 12 kids. I'm one of 12. And it was horrific. It was hellacious. You know, dad drank too much. Mom was, you know, but I understood them. I was with them last night, and I was like, yeah, it was fucked up. We had 12 kids in a small house, and, you know, outside of Boston or whatever, you know? And I was like, man, that's powerful. You know what I mean? She's like, I was able to forgive them and understand them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's therapy to its core.
Yeah.
And as far as my experience is understanding why we're the way we are based on all these things that have occurred in our lives, experiential, traumatic, whatever it may be. And then we figure a way out to exist with those experiences, which often is just push it. Yeah. And don't deal and don't accept.
And having anger and resentment about it.
Oh, 100%.
And letting that affect you.
That's your natural reaction. Is sadness, anger, and blame, and victimization, and all the things. And it begins to affect other aspects of your life. And so going and unlocking everything is like, man, that is just, it's so, I mean, I think everybody in the, you know, world, whatever, everybody out there hears a lot about these journeys, these retreats, and especially now where the government is starting to make it legal, and it's becoming.
I mean, let's hope so. I mean, that's a whole other podcast about the FDA and big pharma and stuff like that. There's no money in it. They don't want it to be helpful or available.
I know, and that's another piece we can go into. But I love the fact that this is something that you chose to do. And yes, we could dig into every aspect of your book, but let's leave something to be sought after.
Yeah. Well, I'll share one more leap of logic I had.
Well, we can do each night if you want to go to night. Let's go to night 2.
Okay, night 2. It was called Going Deeper. I was like, deeper? I was like, oh, first of all, at the end of night 1, after my 4th cup, I swallowed it, and almost like the Matrix, like when the metal starts like coating his
Yeah.
body. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
oh no! I was like, here we go. And I laid down and I wrote in my journal, almost barely legible, why must I always lick the jar? like Winnie the Pooh with the honey pot stuck on his head. And that's sort of the basis of why I was there. And I never thought about it that way. And I wanted to call the book, Why Must I Always Lick the Jar? But I got vetoed. But
Really?
Yeah.
It's a great title.
I know. Oh well. Nothing in moderation.
Nothing in moderation's great.
Yeah. So the next, and I went through all sorts of, emotional realizations after licking the jar. And so the next night 2, going deeper, I was like, how deep is this pool that is me? And so we get there and they're like, this batch is stronger. I was like,
Oh God. It's giving me the
and so
willies.
first one, your requisite hour and a half, but it went longer than that, I sensed, because the first cup was doing things. And there's a thing where the shaman has this like potion, like this bottle, and she takes a sip and and spits it all over you, and you're like anointed or adorned, and you're like, oh, and then she like wipes your forehead and and you're like, oh brother,
Oh my God.
and I was like, okay, I haven't been spat on yet. So I'm laying down and the medicine's doing his thing. Maybe it was after the second cup even. And she's going down the line doing the spitting, and the person right up to my left gets spat on. And then she comes to me and I get on my knees. She goes, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm okay. She goes, you are okay, brother, and skips me. And I was like, I got shortchanged here. What a jip, I wanted to get spat on and hummed at.
That's right.
But what I thought what I took that as, which could be totally false, but in the moment I thought, oh, wait a second. I don't need anything. I don't need the spit. I don't need the chant. Everything I need is right here. And why do I think I want external stimuli? And what is want? Why is want? And why is it such an empty, bottomless pit? Want. Mm-hmm. And I fucking went into a tailspin about want. And
That's so cool.
and I went outside. I would, for some reason, and put my blanket down. Yeah, like a blanket, and I just writhed on the ground. Like, what? Fuck you! Like, rah! Tearing myself apart. I made a Navy SEAL friend there too. He was watching me the next day. He's like, you were out of control, like, or, as it were, like not in this scenery.
Yeah.
But he's like, if I saw you in any other walk of life, I would have called like, a psych.
Get away from him.
Yeah, and or helped me, or he's like, I wanted to help you. And I was just like, stretching the blanket, like, why do I want, like, this is absurd. Like, you have everything. You've been given everything. And I tore myself apart over it. And then I stopped and I purged and I laid in a hammock, just like, oh my God.
Do you purge every time?
Nah, you purge probably like 4 or 5, maybe 6 times a night.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Each time you drink?
No, over a period of time.
Wow.
And
Do you get nauseous before?
no.
What makes you purge?
You just
It just happens.
Yeah, I mean, some people really purged. Like, you can hear it and get like, oh my God, that person's guts are on the floor. But I've got a strong stomach. I probably barfed 4 times in 4 nights, but a lot of people barf more. But,
Fuck, that's like one of my biggest fears.
I know
about
that's
this
what people
thing.
say, but I swear it's not.
No.
It's not something you should prevent you from doing this. But so I laid there and I looked up at the stars, and there's the Big Dipper. Oh, and I had a vision before of me being at this big table, and I was King Shep.
King Shep,
Yeah,
right.
And then it started moving backwards, and there was infinite amount of other king chairs. I was like, oh, yeah, that's valid. Like, I am not
the king.
Nothing more important or have any more gravitas than anybody else in this infinite world.
And this was the ego part, right?
Yeah, and so that was a scene, and then the want and need thing came in.
Yeah.
And then I laid on the thing, and I saw Big Dipper, and I started to move the stars into the Big Dipper. And the Big Dipper got bigger, and the bottom got bigger, and I was like, oh shit. And then it started to look like the chair, the King Shep chair, with all the stars in it. And I thought, excess, not even excess. What you wanting more? You fill the cup that's already full, you know, and stretch it. And why
can't I fill this up?
Yeah, and then I thought about promiscuity, and like, why can't I commit, or why am I enticed by when I'm in a relationship, or at any time when
It's
I'm
more
single
want
too.
is all it is.
It's want, and it's selfish, and it's a no-win situation. You will never fill it up. It'll never happen. So that was a big one. That was a big one. Yeah.
Wow. And was that all second night?
Yes.
Holy moly.
Then after all this shit, I go inside, and all of a sudden the band starts playing. And I mean, I've been to a lot of concerts. It was the most beautiful concert. It was a little more upbeat than your normal, like, dude. And I started, I was sitting there, I was laying on my mattress, like, oh boy, this is fucking good. And then the place started to feel the vibe too. And there was like a candle and this like kind of thing in the middle, all these candles and this little keepsakes on this stand, and girls started getting up and dancing. They're like, amazing, like hippie clothes and twirling around. It was like a Doors concert or something. It was like, and I was like, oh my God, this is so good. And like, people started dancing, and then I sat Indian style right in front of the band and was just raptured. And that went on for like an hour.
Oh, that sounds like heaven.
Yeah. So it was perfect. A perfect end to the evening. And then it wasn't quite the end. I went outside. It was a long night. And I started yelling. I was like, good job. They're like, you can't speak, but yeah, they are awesome. So I went out of the hammock. And
so you're not supposed to speak?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No speaking. I mean, unless you're going through something and you're like, motherfucker, fuck you, you asshole.
But don't, like, communicate.
No, you can't clap for the band, although I started snapping and everybody started snapping. I was like a little ringleader of the band. Or at least that's what I thought. I'm outside in the hammock, and the guy's like, we're about to finish up. And a music comes on, like, out of the stereo, which it did at the end of most nights. And the song True Colors by Cyndi Lauper came on, and I just melted. I was like, yes, true colors shining through. If this world makes you crazy and you think you had enough. Yeah, I was just like, and I mean, I got goosebumps. Yeah. And I have that song very much in my playlist, and it brings me back to that time at the hammock. And I might have shed a tear or two and just been like, true colors, man. True colors. Think about it. Live it. Yeah.
So good.
Oh, boy.
Holy cow, dude. All right, well, let's go to
Shit,
night
I'm
3.
telling the whole book.
No, I know. So don't. So leave a little bit for the people to go and get all the details.
No, I'm a better writer than speaker. I'm okay at speaking, but like
I'm enthralled. This is the kind of detail that everybody wants to know. Like, I've always wanted to know what it's like.
Yeah.
I want to know because I want to do it. My doctor tells me to do it.
Come with me. I have a week open.
I might.
In December. They said I can invite whoever I want, especially someone with a platform like you.
I'll have to see.
Okay.
The whole sobriety world is just an interesting little conflict.
Because it has nothing to do with substances.
No.
In fact, it was very revelatory in a sense to me, because the only time I've ever tripped, I've drank 7 beers, or call it 12, smoked cigarettes, maybe a joint,
weed,
running around, laughing. It was not that. It was a solitary pursuit. It was not a social, ha, this is fun. That is not what it is. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, the door is open.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Consider. All right, night 3. Night 3,
biggest night.
I've got Divine Feminine.
The Divine Feminine.
Yeah, hit me.
Which I was like, well, wait, Mother Ayahuasca. The night before, the shaman was a female, and this night was a female. I was like, we're not ignoring the feminine here, but hey, bring it on, whatever. And the night before, night 2, I wrote on my stomach, on my chest, follow upside down, as it were, if you were reading it, and pointed to my heart.
Yeah.
And I didn't know why I did that. And so I spent the whole next day before night 3 asking, what does it mean to follow your heart? What does it mean to follow your heart? What is it? And I was like, because it's a saying.
Yeah.
But what does it mean? What do you mean? Where's their heart want to go?
Yeah.
What is this? Like, again, you ask Mother Ayahuasca and she shall tell you what it means to follow your heart. So that's what happened. You know, and that's actually a night I'd like everyone to read about. Perfect. It was the most ethereal and vivid, crazy experience. And the thing that I observed after the fact is there was no more webs to untie. So this is what it is. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like, boom,
you're out of the maze.
You've struggled and you've beat yourself up in all the good ways, constructive ways. And now let me show you like a path or what it means to follow your heart. And, I mean, I'll just say I had open heart surgery. I watched my chest be cut open and my heart be massaged and fooled with, and then I was led into a room, which I'll say, which was so amazing, and it was like full, you know, harkened back to loved ones and memories, and you know, dead relatives and brother, sister, mom, dad, best friends, just all this shown to me, and and then the door shut and that was it. They were like, that's all you can see. And I was just like, oh my God. I was like a baby on the ground, like in the womb, like, oh, wait, no, I want to go back. And they're like, no, you're not, that's it. And I was like, oh shit. Then the shaman spat on me.
You were ready.
I was ready.
That's right.
I was ready.
She knew it.
She knew it. And it was just crazy. And the next day I mentioned it to the staff and they were like, yes, you had surgery. This is something that happens. Wow. And then I told them, there's like, yes, you were in the room.
The room.
Yes, we know about the room. I was like, get out of here. That can't be a coincidence. I mean, that's crazy. They've done this hundreds, if not thousands of different people. And they told us that we might have surgery, and they definitely said you might see dead relatives or friends.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I heard a lot about that.
So you have the opportunity the following day to kind of debrief some things and see if people can help you understand
at breakfast. With your new friends. And then, yes, absolutely. The staff is available. They have little like seminars during the day that are not required, but suggested. And so I went to like 75, 80% of them. And then I spent some time by the pool and in the sauna and just sort of, you know, collecting my thoughts. And yeah, it was beautiful. And so night 3 was amazing. And if I had stopped there, I would have gotten a lot out of it.
Yeah. So just a quick touch on Follow Your Heart, because it just is such an interesting piece. I mean, I think my conclusion was follow the potential of your heart and try to make your heart as big and as swollen with love and empathy and caring, and then also chase and follow your passions, because that's what makes you whole. And I know that sounds ridiculous because like some people don't have the time or money to follow your passions. My passions are traveling and fishing, fly fishing and surfing and things like that, of course. But those are the times where I'm most whole. Yeah. And
I'm lucky as fuck. Okay. I have the wherewithal to chase these things, but you can do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. You really can. And I know with a family and things like that, it's much different. Yeah. But I have a story that has nothing to do with ayahuasca, but I think I was in Byron Bay in Australia, and I got fed up with my friend who was there, who was talking to this girl. I was like, dude, this is ridiculous. I'm going to go by myself, which I love being by myself. Travel by yourself. I love it. And so I went to this restaurant, and this very nice Aussie, hey mate, I was like, hey, yeah. He's like, oh, you're American. And he goes, oh, we have a waitress here, and she's American. She came over. I was like, nice to meet you. Where are you from? She's like, rural Indiana. I was like, oh, okay. I go, tell me how you got here. She's like, well, I'm from rural Indiana. I was like, right. You wanted to get out of the cornfields, basically. And so she's like, I saved enough money. I bought a ticket to Spain. I got a job. I loved it. And I said, well, what's next? I saved enough money and I came here to Byron Bay. She's like, I met some friends. I started to surf and I got a job here. And now they want me to promote me. And I was like, okay, this person just made it happen.
Yeah, right.
Just freaking made it happen. So, you know, I don't want to be dismissive or trite, but like there is a way to follow your passions and see new things. There's a thing at Rhythmia, they say, make yourself comfortably uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And that's how you grow, you know? So put yourself out of your comfort zone. And in that case, it's going to new places, seeing new things, meeting new people.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, when I think of follow your heart, I tend to do, and I've done a lot of work, obviously, being in 12 steps and a trained therapist myself, but there's a lot of different tools and ways to think about things. And when I think of follow your heart, you know, you often hear that deep down inside of us, we know the truth. Our life and our experiences and our survival mechanisms and our defense mechanisms tend to block that truth sometimes. So when someone asks me a question like, hey, you want to go do some fucking blow? I know I shouldn't. The truth is in there.
Yeah.
But that point is, you know.
Yeah.
It's in there.
Yeah.
And that's the heart that I see and kind of comprehend is I internally
Listen to it.
I know my soul.
Yeah, soul and heart.
My battery, whatever it is.
Yeah.
My conscience.
Yeah.
All of that knows what's right for me and
merge all those things.
Yeah.
And let that be your guide.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you, man.
Yeah, man.
Powerful stuff.
All right,
and I mean, boy, the rationalizations we make, and you know, one more for the road, or you know, hey, it's, you know, 2 martini lunch, and you're like, man, that's not gonna be good for me. You know, that's bringing in a lot of yeah, exactly. It's very tough.
It's so hard. It's really, really hard.
Yeah.
Night 4.
Night 4.
Final night, and then we're going to kind of talk about
integration. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I didn't even know what to ask Mother Ayahuasca. I was like, show me what's left.
So each night you have like a theme that you ask at the beginning?
They give you guidance. They're like, you can use our stock questions. Like first night, you don't even know how this thing works, but it's an interesting question. Show me who I've become.
Okay.
So that's a good jumping off point. But then, yeah, and then if you know, merge my soul, you know, all this cool stuff, and it's all, you have like a little playbook, and you can write in it and stuff like that. So I went there, and I was just, and it was an all-nighter, and it was with this like badass dude from the actual jungles of the Amazon named Mitra. And he looked like a tough son of a bitch, but he was the shaman, you know. But I just was like, I wouldn't want to get on his bad side. He had feathers and, you know, like just ripped, and like necklaces and, you know, like a beard. I was like, whoa, dude, this guy's like Road Warrior or something. And we start, and I started to think about my best friend Andrew Carmines, and his brother died, and I wasn't there because I was in Buenos Aires doing study abroad, and I wasn't able to fly back. Mm-hmm. And as it were, he had a younger brother who died a crib death, and so he's the last son, and he's been great. Came home, took over the family restaurant in Hilton Head called Hudson's, and made it even more successful, and has 3 kids and a wonderful wife, and I'm very close with this family, their family. And my parents consider him, you know, another son. So then I started to just think about connections and friends like that. And then I started to think about him and his family. And I thought, wow, what if something happens to him, you know? And I was like, I will be there. I will make sure, you know, all this stuff. Like, I don't know why. I was just in this like weird headspace about my best friend. And then I went out on the hammock, and I thought, oh, wow, his brother, who was very outdoorsy, surfer, hiker, camper. I was like, oh, he loved hammocks. I mean, that was his thing. I remember him having hammocks growing up in his backyard. He was just he was sort of like a hippie guy. And he taught us a lot about music, like Good Music, Fish, and Widespread and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We heard them first from him, and all of a sudden, I look over and this like light. It was a light from a bulb, but it started to come closer to me, and it sort of manifested as him. And he
as David or Andrew?
David. And he said, it's good to see you, good to have you. Where have you, it's about time you did something like this, sort of thing. And I was like, oh my God. And then he said, tell my brother I'm proud of him.
Oh man.
And I just started crying because I'm proud of him too.
Yeah.
He did it right, and so that was really powerful. And I couldn't stop crying. And finally I stopped. And I went inside, and you had drawn a number early in the night, your group 1, 2, or 3 or something, and you go to the center of the Maloka, which is like a big dojo, and you sit on the sides of like a little rectangle, and then when it's your turn, Mitra comes to you and performs this whole, the whole deal. And it takes some time, and it takes a lot of energy from him, I could tell. And it's just amazing. And he did everyone in the room. There was 50 of us.
50?
Yes.
You were there with 50 people?
50 people.
I did not realize that.
Yes.
Holy.
It was a big room, big sprawling thing. And you had a mattress, and then, a few feet over is another mattress. It looked like an infirmary and like MASH. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because when I'd walk around, which I did often, just to check on people, it was definitely during my, when Mother Ayahuasca left me and before she had entered me again.
Okay.
And I'd just walk around and just check it. And you had people writhing around, going through what I had just probably gone through. You had people.
But you're not allowed to talk.
No. It was just basically checking things out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I laid back down, and I was in the first group, and I fell asleep. I fell asleep for I don't know how long. By the way, sleeping is a thing, and they say sleeping's okay because that's like it's still working inside you. Don't ask me how, but a lot of people slept. I saw a lot of people sleep, but I finally slept on that night, and I missed my turn to get adorned by Mitra.
Oh no!
No, it's okay. I went up to a shaman, and one of the few times I spoke during the thing, I said, "Hey, I missed it." And they're like, "We got you. So I finally did my thing, and
he did it when you were asleep.
Yeah. And by the way, I saw him gain strength from the band. The band was playing. It was just really cool. You could just see things. It was just like there's a lot going on. And then I went back outside, and I fell asleep again in the hammock and was woken up at dawn saying it's over.
Wow.
So we went in. Our 4 nights were exhausted, and a couple, he goes, good job, everybody. Love you, blah, blah, blah. And we have an announcement, and a couple that was there decided to get married, and he married them, and we were all like, it's fucking crazy. Like we were all like bands of brothers and sisters at this point. Like,
been
wow.
through it.
So really, really beautiful ending. And then, and then the final day, I had this they had like an exit breathing thing, and I broke down at that too. Had these wonderful flood of memories of my childhood and all the love I've received. And at that point, it had been leading to this, but it was like, you are so lucky. You have got to have gratitude pouring out of you. Like, that is the key. I mean, of course, that's impossible to do all the time. We all get frustrated. We all bitch and moan about things that are really nothing at all. Mm-hmm. But the amount of, just love that I've received and support is just amazing. And so that was a big takeaway, because I heard from a lot of people that have not had it easy.
Yeah. Oh, good God, man. So one thing I want to bring up on the 4th night, and then we'll move forward.
Okay.
Was I recall reading that you turned down a 3rd cup.
I did.
Right, and that was like a
thing.
First for you.
That was a thing. I was like, I'm fine.
I'm good.
Yeah.
How many times have you said I'm good?
Not as much as I should.
Not many. Yeah. Interesting. So all right. So then, you wrap it up. Again, we got to leave some for the readers, but so let's move into after. How long ago was that?
That was 2.5 years ago.
2.5 years. When we talk through this, I mean, your memories of this experience are extremely vivid.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you could probably walk me through every
I was journaling
single...
a lot during it, and I was thanks to Bailey, she was like, "Hey, bring a journal in there with a pen. It might be ridiculous, and you might be in no condition to write, but if there's something you see is important, write it down. Just write down a quick reminder." Mm-hmm. But I remembered everything too. But it's nice to have like, and when I was writing the book, I was flipping through a journal. Oh yeah, stuff like that.
Because that's a different thing. That's a different experience than the ones we're used to. I mean, I've had nights where I have had incredible insights and things that have come into my brain and experiences, and I barely remember them.
Yeah.
Don't remember most of them, actually.
Yeah.
That's different than what you just did. This was not, I mean, like you've already, clarified, this is not a party. This is not, you're in there doing some real stuff.
Yeah.
And to walk away remembering all of it. Now, 2.5 years later, I mean, those memories are just as fresh. I mean, the way you're talking about it now. So talk about integration, talk about the effect it had on you and the way you live life now.
Sure. Well, I'm going back.
Good.
Let me tell you.
Well, you hear that.
It's
maybe you need a refresher course.
I do need a refresher course. Because I stray from all the lovely things that I came to realize. But here's the difference. Well, all right. So integration. You're not supposed to drink for 2 weeks afterwards. I said, okay, I'm following the rules here for once. Mm-hmm. And my friend came down from LA, and then my friend that I met there, who's also a surfer, we all went to Tamarindo, rented an Airbnb, and we were going to surf. And so we did. We went to Witch's Rock. Fucking amazing. I'll send you the footage
Costa?
and the pictures. Yeah, Witch's Rock. It's a tough thing to get to. You got to take a boat and a car to this, blah, blah, blah. But it's like one of the most famous waves. And it was just the three of us. And we had a day, man. It was fucking amazing. And, afterwards, the boat guys were like, anybody want a beer? I was like, I mean, boy, I'd love one. But no, I'm not going to do it. So, and my friend was drinking. He didn't care. And my friend from Rhythmia definitely wasn't. We were just like, so got back to the U.S., still wasn't partaking. I went to a Grateful Dead cover concert sober. I was the designated driver for some people. New experience. Saw my friend Austin, my friend and castmate. He was like, how are you? I was like, good, man. I'm really good, and it's just cool, to get back. And then I stayed in touch with the SEAL team guy from there, and a few other guys, some sort of mentor type people I really respect and liked down there. And I still stay in touch, and it's really nice. I went to Nashville to see about a girl, and she was so busy that like she had dinners and stuff, and I was with some old Vanderbilt friends and some other party people, and I just sort of, I slipped up. I don't remember getting back to the hotel, and I was just like, no, like, the fuck, and I called my SEAL Team 6 guy. He's like, dude, stop. He's like, this isn't some magic pill, you are not, change is really hard, and old habits definitely die hard. And honestly, what it is, and then so that, little things here and there, and I write about them, a fun weekend in the Caribbean where I was the life of the party, Hurricane Shep, and the next day was like, and then the whole staff, hey, look who it is, so like, you just kind of have to come to terms with some things and your own personality and whether it could, if harnessed right, and if, it could be a very jovial and communal thing, and everybody can really enjoy it. I mean, and you got to be hard on yourself and forgive yourself at the same time, and
that's a great way of putting it.
Which is a difficult balancing act. So I think the biggest thing is I'm hard on myself, and it really hurts me when I have a bad night, or I hear the next day like, dude, we had to put you in a taxi or whatever, and that happens. It happens, and honestly, Robbie, it's physiological. I've never said no to anything. That's in the book too. The pitfalls and benefits in life of saying yes. And I think over time, saying yes is a dangerous thing. And so from age 20 or whatever, before that, it was everything, Cookie Monster. And I was able to deal with it. I mean, I made good grades. I went to business school. I mean, there's obviously some wild stories, but everyone's okay, Sure. But physiologically, I can't do it anymore.
Right.
My brain and body are like, no. Mm-hmm. And for example,
you hear that a lot.
I had a night where I smoked a joint after a Knicks game in playoffs 2 years ago. And I was having a ball, and I smoked a joint with a friend who was in New York, and I just became a noodle. He was like, I had to like almost carry you back. You know what I mean? And that's just too much. My brain was like, no.
Yeah.
No, you're drinking beers, and that's okay.
Right.
But like you can't add this shit, you know, like and that's happened a couple of times. But like again, you're like, oh no, I'm still 25. You know what I mean? You're like, no, you're fucking not. Or I'm still 35 for that matter. But like once I hit, if like a couple, it's been like, let's call it 40s, early 40s, and then to now 46. Boy, I can't do it. But I trick myself into thinking I can do it. And I try to keep that so limited, and then I go on like a bad run, and I fully admit that. And so it's a constant, like, tough on yourself and like be better and survive in advance, like the NCAA tournament,
Wolfpack, yep.
But it's just a matter of time if you put yourself in these positions. And I'm just like, damn, dude.
Well, I'll share a little personal experience in that space and this was 20 years ago, but I was a little worse off. And once I began attempts at moderation and at changes and being better and all those things, each time I would go off the handle or lose control, the guilt would be pretty heavy.
Yes.
But the problem was the guilt made me
do it
more. Right. And so then it just becomes that thing again, and
that's where you forget about the guilt. You
do.
Very temporary.
Very temporary. Not only do you forget about the guilt, it takes it. I always said, when I felt depression or anxiety or deep dark stuff, as soon as I had 3 drinks, I not only didn't feel that, I felt the opposite, which was just intense euphoria. Yeah. And it was short-lived, and it created twice as much of that dark stuff.
Yes.
And then the cycle began. And then you kind of hit these walls where oh my God, and you either go do another journey or, you figure some things out.
Yes. You ask yourself hard questions, and you talk to people you love and trust.
Yeah.
And you're honest with them, and you're authentic, and you're real, and you don't hold anything back. The machismo of keeping everything in, and that strength is total hogwash.
It very much is.
And that's a dangerous thing. I'm still trying. I have foolish romantic notions that, maybe a family and, being in love and taking that step and would be like really beneficial for the reasons I said earlier, about my friend who had my good time friend who's like, I can't do that. Mm-hmm. I can't, that's not an option.
Yeah.
I've got school and nurseries and babysitters to really, like all this stuff. Like, but that's not to say someone in a family, a father or mother, can't have, issues with this and that, and substances and alcohol. But I would love sort of this like anchor. And so I wouldn't want to throw that on anybody, like, oh yeah, like without you, I'm a mess, like that's no good.
Right.
So,
you do it because you're ready, not because you think it's going to change you.
No, I see a path and I kind of want to walk it.
I think you should. I think there are a lot of times in my recovery life where I've had a fork in the road, and that little girl of mine says, you better fucking go left, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because if you go right, you're not going to see me anymore.
Yeah, and you hear that from the David Bowies and of the world, and Steven Tyler. I've heard, they're like, do you ever want to drink? He's like, you don't understand the ripple effect of that. God.
It's
like kids, grandkids,
Oh my
spouses. It just,
well,
for them at least.
And that's kind of the not that it's an intentional solution, but when you do build a life that you're proud of and don't want to throw away, then that's your motivation.
Brother, preaching to the choir. And I've got all these cool opportunities and partnerships.
Hell yeah, you do.
And, you know, I don't want to disappoint them. I want everyone to prosper and live long and prosper.
Well, I want to see you go do another retreat. Maybe I'll come with you.
Yeah.
And then see where you go after that. Because
Yeah,
I think your fans, which you have millions of, every one of them are pulling for you. And I don't know what that looks like, what they're pulling for, but they're not pulling for you to die.
No.
We know that.
No, of course. I mean,
Right.
And all it takes is like once, you know, yeah, we all can die at any time. We can
Sure.
die pulling out of the driveway, you
Yep.
know, but I want to do it. If it's going to be a horrific accident, fine, but I don't want it to be because of my not doing the things that I need to do and being the person I want to be. And again, I do not have any answers. But I'm trying to ask the right questions.
Shep, we're all on a journey, brother.
Yeah, brother.
We're all trying, man.
Yeah.
And nobody's perfect. Nobody has it figured out.
Yeah, and if you say you do, you're probably a
You're
cult
full of
leader.
shit. That's right. All right. Nothing in moderation, a psychedelic reckoning with excess.
Yes.
Buy it, read it, learn it, love it.
And listen to it soon. It's
and
going to
listen
come
to
out.
it. That's your voice.
And my voice, and I've gotten a lot of inquiries about that. A lot of people consume their books on audio.
Yeah.
And that's great. I mean, my sister, for example, you know, she drives to her kids all these practices.
Oh,
45 minutes here to there, volleyball, soccer, lacrosse.
That's why I'm in the podcast world.
Yeah, exactly. I listen to podcasts all the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly sports.
Yeah. I'm going to say it again. Nothing in moderation, a psychedelic reckoning with excess. By
Good.
Shep Rose.
Sweet. Love it.
Thank
Great
you,
seeing you. Absolutely.
Phenomenal.